This video will demonstrate the GPS monitoring app for Captivate to the GeoMos Now Survey Edition and workflow. So the first thing that we need to do in Captivate is to create a new working job. Just need to give it a name and we'll start this job. And after that we can access from the Carousel app the GPS monitoring app. The first thing to do is to manage a point group. Now we need to do this because this will actually enable us to measure a set of points for periodic monitoring campaigns, and only once, and then the points will get stored in the memory, and thus saving us the time of remeasuring the points every time we want to do it afterwards. It just makes the process of doing periodic, not full-time 24/7 monitoring work a lot easier using an onboard app on the instrument as well. So we need a group for a name for our point group. It just inherited the same name as the job we just created. The interval between sets, I'm going to leave it for 30 seconds for the purpose of this demo. Yes, I'm going to show the measurement errors on screen and timeout after 60 seconds if it misses a target for any reason. So I want to do two-phase measurements and I want to use the positions to locate the reflector. Yes. Here I could set a maximum displacement between sets as to detect blunder points, and if it detects them some blunder, it will just remove them from the list, which is also a nice QC check tool. So with the onboard app, it actually enables you to sanitize a bit of the data before taking it to GeoMos Now. Here you can just check your target definitions. I'm going to leave as is. And here you can use some points. Now if you already have some points that you previously measured in your job, you can use them and just add the points as you go along. Also, the orientation of the instrument is read from the current working job. So right now I need to add a couple points, and I could add them anew, or I can go for my measure app directly from the GPS monitoring app. So let's just change my point ID to something else. Let's call it MSR1, as in measured point number 1. And here I can control on the emulator the horizontal, vertical angle, and the slope distance that I want to be measured. So I'm going to start with this. Okay, that's the first point measured, and I'll measure a couple more. Now I'm going to change my horizontal, let's say to 45 degrees, and measure. And let's go with 90. Measure, actually apply and measure. And measure up again. Let's go with something a bit different, 220. And apply and measure. Again, say this just speeds up the whole measuring process, because once you have the points in, there's no need to remeasure them on the next site visit. You just call off your job and in effect start measuring the whole set of points, the whole point group in one go. So I'm going to start these 4 points. I'm happy with that, and I could proceed to measuring them. And once I hit start, so what the simulator will do, it will actually measure in phase 1 and phase 2 for all of the points in the point group as per defined in the initial settings. So I'm going to run through at least 3 sets, but I'll change my measured slope distance just so I have some deviation in my values. So the next step, it will actually measure the same points, but now with roughly 3 mil difference for the initial measurements. For the next set, potentially maybe increase this to 6 mil. So it's a nice feature because for people that are still using Excel spreadsheets to produce their temporary monitoring campaigns or periodic monitoring campaigns, this whole workflow, as I'll show you later, will just remove the need for that. You can just take advantage of the existing tools that we have both for Captivate and for GeoMos Now, which I'll show in a minute. So once I complete this last set of measurements, I'm just going to do an erroneous measurement, something a bit off. Let's go with 10.5, just to show that if I have some blunder points, some outliers, it will just remove them from the whole measurement process. So you can see that the software will actually tell you there's something wrong and potentially needs to be looked at in terms of outliers. This is just to highlight the possibility to do QC checks directly on the field and enable you to do a decision on the spot without the need for additional post-processing. So let's go back. Here, I'm not going to go through this option, but this in effect enables you to select a set of points from which the instrument will do a resection or no backside reorientation, whatever you want to do in terms of reorientating the instrument to some known control points at a specified date. So let's say you'll be asked to do a full day monitoring campaign for 100 targets, and every hour or every couple of hours you want to recheck your instrument's position. So just make sure you have a full power supply on your instrument and it will do it for you. Also, make sure out of the practice that you have your date and time correctly keyed in your controller for everything to work. Next option, so you can actually export the data through means of a file to your SD card or your USB stick, and then you can upload it to GeoMos Now that way, or alternatively you can actually take advantage of the onboard wireless capabilities and connect your instrument to a wireless hotspot like your smartphone, and instantly you can go from the field to the internet with your data. That saves time pushing data back and forth from an SD card or USB stick. And again, the whole thing is just a lot more seamless to do it this way. Because I'm on the simulator, I'm online, as you can check from that icon, and I can hit OK, and I need to key in my GeoMos Now user credentials. Okay, and I can upload my file to the web. And instantly, if you have a QR reader app in your phone, it will take you directly to the GeoMos Now website, so mobile phone optimized. The previous step that we looked at was exporting the data or uploading the data directly into your GeoMos user account. I'm already logged in to my GeoMos cloud user account. I have a project preset. You have to make sure that your project settings are with the right units as your field data, and I can import some coordinates for this project. You can see that I have here the file that I just uploaded. So I have to take it, check the files units so they match the project ones. You can go next. And here you have the option to check which points do you want to use as a null coordinate, or you can edit them, or you can delete and choose other ones. You can also filter your data, and if you actually check your settings here, let's see, I'm gonna do a bit of outlier checking just to prove a point, so you can actually sort your data, and it will tell you which points are outside this tolerance here, and you could actually do a QSEC and sanitize the data even further before bringing it into your project, if you choose to do so. That's the benefit. So you don't have to look through an Excel spreadsheet or enable a macro, or do computations by hand even. So you can just follow the steps on a nice wizard, and very quickly, because this can also be done with your mobile phone or device, very quickly you can start generating deformation reports and graphs from the GeoMos Now. And that just enables the decision-making process a whole lot simpler and faster. So let's leave this again on the default values. So obviously you can change this as you see fit. And if you're happy with your data, you can hit for finish. And another interesting feature in GeoMos Now, so you can set your graphs or new graphs however you see fit, but by default GeoMos Now will actually give you some predefined graphs and build a dashboard for you. So you have the longitudinal displacement, traverse, height, and a couple of vector graphs. So let's, for example, have a look at the longitudinal displacement one. Just change my time scale for the past 10 minutes. Okay, and you can clearly see this represents the sort of deviation that I was manually keying into Captivate. And from here you can generate your reports, build custom ones, build graphs, save your graphs, build your own dashboards, as a means to take advantage of the full spread of GeoMos Now's available tools to, in fact analyze your monitoring campaign in terms of reducing the risk on your site in a nice, easy, and trouble-free workflow. So I hope you liked it. I'll see you next time.